again, like I said, if you got a B, we were like, what's up with you, fam? You getting B's in here? Yeah, B's don't get degrees, baby. You know, they say C's don't get degrees. We said B's don't get degrees. That was our mentality, right?
Man.
And so, yeah, no, it was that kind of mentality. So not only were we the jocks, right? You know, what you consider as a jock is like, you know, the girls like you and all the teachers love you and you're the, you know, but it was also important, like, dang, these dudes have their backpacks. These dudes are coming to class. We're sitting in the front. We're setting an example. And that was important to us.
Welcome back to the Beard Bros podcast. Like, subscribe, comment. Today we got a legend from our city, Roswell, Dontrell Moore. How you doing today?
Doing all right, man. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you.
Crazy town, baby.
Crazy town, Roswell.
Yeah.
How did it all start, man?
Goodness.
When you know you were good?
You know, I tell people, you know, I wake up in the morning and I piss excellence. You know what I'm saying? No,
There you go.
no, I was just joking. It's crazy when I think about that. I've had that question asked, or I've talked about that so many aspects of my life. When did you know you were going to be something other than a normal person as it pertains to like life and expectations? And because everyone thinks about like athletically, or everyone thinks about academically, but for me, just in life, right? To much is given, much is required. So I would go probably like earlier than that. I remember preschool. We did this play in preschool at Head Start. You guys remember Head Start?
Yes,
Head
sir.
Start. And I remember Miss Ward and all my head school teachers. There was a play, a Christmas play, and it's gonna be kind of funny when I think about it. I'm like, this is how you knew you were gonna be special. And so, you know, it was a Christmas play, and none of the kids wanted to kind of do the main, I don't know, I want to say it was a donkey, but I don't know what it was. It was like maybe a reindeer. In my mind, I remember it being a donkey, but the play was where you put this suit on and you got to like parade around, and then you were like the star attraction of the show. And I was the only kid in the whole school that like even volunteered to do it, or they thought could do it. No one else wanted to do it. And I was the star of the show. My mom has it on video still. It's actually really cool. And it seems kind of comical when you think about, okay, this is how you knew. But what happened was I was the only kid out of, let's say, 400 or 500 kids that stood up and said, listen, I'll take on this role. I'll be able to start attraction. And I did it subconsciously. And then when you look back after all these years and you talk to the teachers, they were like, there was no other person in the school that was capable of doing that. So at that point, other people knew it about me before I even knew it myself. So then I look back on that, I'm like,
That's where it started.
that's where it started. That's where I went. You know,
It's crazy because you stepped out of everybody else's comfort zone.
absolutely.
Because I remember being so young, you're nervous. You don't want to be laughed at,
Yes.
made fun of.
Because what was the most important thing growing up? I didn't want to be laughed at.
Yeah,
Right? I want to fit in. Why do you think? And I work with juvenile delinquents now, which is a passion that I have and I've had it. Is that the reason kids get in trouble so much now is that they're afraid to do their own thing. I was never afraid to do my own thing. Never.
Wow.
Never. So I don't drink. I never have. I don't smoke. I never have. I've never done any. And never. And you know, I love Roswell, but I grew up in Roswell. There was a lot of drugs going on. My friends were smoking weed on my mom's porch in 4th grade.
Oh, wow.
So I had opportunities, but I chose not to. So I was never afraid to kind of do my own thing. Never.
Right.
Nope, I'm doing me. I'm gonna do me. And so I think that mentality, that philosophy for me has, you know, driven me to success. And it's just been working for me ever since. I mean, it's amazing when you think about the things you've gone through in your life, the things that you could. I am literally one left turn from being jumped in a game. Me. One left turn.
You're right, because like you said, where you're from, it's very easy to be sucked into that
So
lifestyle.
easy, man.
You see it almost too often, even still to this day.
Absolutely.
And you would think after time and time people would learn,
Right.
But they don't.
They don't, man.
And
They don't.
Man, it humbles me because there is still potential.
Absolutely.
And you're like he said earlier, from a town like Roswell, you give people that opportunity to say, hey, it's okay to be different.
Absolutely.
There's other ways to succeed. You don't have to follow the crowd.
And again, it's not easy. I mean, you guys have lived it. Have been around it. I grew up on the base. That's where my mom still lives to this day.
Wow.
And the base was rough, man.
Yes.
It was rough, and I was right there in it. But I was like, no, I'm gonna get to 4.0. I'm gonna do me. You know, like. And then this is what really cool. This is when I kind of knew that those two worlds are so close but so far away. All of the people who were doing dirt, it got to a point where they didn't want me to do dirt. They were like, okay, He's not following. He's not listening to us. So now we want to protect him.
Wow.
So and that's powerful. They start
Respecting
respecting it, and the kids now can't get there. They can't sustain their long enough for the other, people who aren't doing the same thing to start respecting them. And that's where I got, guys. I got to where they're like, nah, that's D-Mo, man. We got his back. He's not smoking. We got him. He's not drinking. He's not skipping school. He's getting a 4.0. I didn't get a B until college.
Wow.
People don't even know that. I never got my first B until college. Now, I got some on people going to watch it and say, oh, I talked to the teacher. I got it on a progress report. I got to see it on a progress report. And my mom gave me that look. You guys know that look when your mom gives you? Never got another one again. No. So it's like, as tough as I am, I tell people, oh, big bet. Nah, your mama don't play. Don't play with your mom.
Well, we've seen that you've mentioned in the past that she wasn't going to allow you to go to Roswell High and play football and stuff without being a 4.0.
I'll tell that story right now. I never forget it, man. I'll never, ever forget it. So it started earlier than that. It started in 4th or 5th grade. Okay. And my mom wanted me to go to the Mexican Military Institute. No disrespect. I had people who were willing to pay for me and take care, go to. And I said, Mom, and this might have been 4th grade. I said, Mom, if you expect me to be great, how can you expect me to do my ultimate best if I'm not genuinely happy? And my mom said, she put her head down. She's like, what kind of son am I dealing with? She says it all the time. She's like, who am I dealing with? And I said it because it was real for me. It was real for me. I knew at a young age that ultimate happiness comes from within, and if you can be ultimately happy with yourself, there's nothing you can't do. Literally, man, I tell people, think about the billionaires in the world. If you had 10 billionaires, I bet you 8 of them are miserable.
Right.
Miserable, right?
I could agree.
Miserable, not just unhappy, miserable. Suicidal, miserable, right? And I'm not, because money isn't the root of all happiness. They think it is.
Right.
I think money is the root of all evil if you obtain it the wrong way. What I mean by that is this: you have to find your own internal happiness, and I found that, and that was through helping others, through kids, and through, I always see the world like this. I don't get high, but I'm high off life, and I always have been that way. And so I was able to be happy, and I said, Mom, I can't be successful if I'm not genuinely happy. So if I'm going somewhere to the Mexican Military Institute, which would have done wonders for my career, right? And she saw that. She wanted the best for me. She wanted me to leave Roswell. She wanted me to get out and succeed and do all I still did that, but she wanted me to go her route. Right. So this is what happened. She says, okay. So 2 or 3 years passed. We're now middle school and Mountain View, baby. What's up? I just throw it up to Mountain View, man. That's my love, man. So I met all my friends and we're cool and we're playing basketball and we won the city championship in football and basketball, and we're all getting good. Now I have this circle of friends who, if you get a B, you got laughed at. That was my circle of friends. Oh, okay. If you got a B, you got laughed at.
Nice.
That was the circle of friends that I had created. Does that make sense?
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that
man.
Is not normal.
It's not, and I realized it early. But that was the influence of me, right? So I was the most popular kid in school everywhere I went. But the most popular kid in school, the most cool. I'm not bragging, but
right.
I embraced it. I embraced it. I embraced it. I was the most popular kid in school. I didn't shy away from it. And then I was like, this is what I'm going to do. Like in elementary and during Martin Luther King, I got over the loudspeaker, did the I Have a Dream speech over the whole school, 4th grade. That's the kind of power that I realized at an early age and the kind of influence that I had. So for me, I was like, how can I influence positivity, right? Then my friends, they stopped skipping. They stopped smoking. Then I was, the other people were still doing that, but that's what the influence I had. And that was important to me. So I had a group of friends. Shout out to my boys, man. I love them to this day. We're still cool to this day. There's a group of 8 or 9 of us, and we're still tight to this day.
Nice.
And again, like I said, if you got a B, we were like, what's up with you, fam? You getting B's in here? Yeah, B's don't get degrees, baby. They say C's don't get degrees. We said B's don't get degrees. That was our mentality, right?
Man.
And so it was that kind of mentality. So not only were we the jocks, right? What you consider as a jock is the girls like you and all the teachers love you and you're the, but it was also important, dang, these dudes have their backpacks. These dudes are coming to class. We're sitting in the front. We're setting an example. And that was important to us. We didn't know why, meaning it wasn't conscious. It was important. There's a difference. Let me tell you what the difference is. Most people make a conscious decision to sit in the front of the class, right? They make a conscious decision to do what's right. Or are you doing it for your own reasons, or are you doing it for your own reasons? For us, it was important. We didn't care what everybody else thought.
Wow. On that track, why do you think these days there's a lack of that? What do you think has led into the lack of leadership?
Social media.
Social media?
And listen, let me look into the camera and say this. There is a purpose for social media. It serves an amazing purpose. Technology is our gift and our curse.
Okay.
And I believe that because you have a world of me now. Me, right? So the emphasis is on me, not us. The emphasis is on me, not how I can affect positive change in the world, how I can positively affect my friends. It's on me, right? So I don't have time to help you with your school. I don't have time to help you with your girlfriend troubles. I don't have time to help you with your family issues because I'm worried about me. So what was your original question? Your original question was, why do I think
there's a lack of
leadership? Because there's no need to be no more. I don't have to be a leader. I can just worry about me.
As long as you're good.
As long as I'm good, then, like my little cousin, man, I love him to death, and he's starting to figure it out. But his biggest thing was, how many followers can I get?
Right.
Not how do I positively lead them, right? I want to post a rap video because he's a rapper and he's really good. But I want to post a rap video and see how many followers I get. And I said, Tajik, it's not about your followers, it's about your content.
Right.
Let me say that again, fam. It's not about your followers, it's about your content.
If you have good content, the followers will come. You don't have to have them.
You don't have to have them come just because you put a naked girl or you put some drug money or you put some... What is your content? What are you saying in your words? Are you being poetic? And so, let me get back to the Mountain View story. So my mom says, you're going to the Mixed Military Institute. I said, oh, we had this discussion 4 or 5 years ago when I was younger. I said, how can I? All right, she said, I'll give you one chance to stay at Roswell High, right? RHS, baby, Coyotes. She said, if you go to Roswell High, you get a 4.0. I don't know if you guys remember the scale, like 4.0 was but if you had honors classes, you can get a 4.2, 5.0, the 5.0 scale. So she said, I'll give you one opportunity, right? And she said, you'll go to Roswell High for a semester. And if you don't get a 4.0, you're going straight to the institute. Done. I got a 4.2. Never looked back.
Nice.
Never looked back. And I love that story because it talks to a lot of things. The challenge that was issued by my mom, the accepted challenge, right? And the completion of the execution, right? Why is there no leadership? People are afraid of being challenged. They're afraid of being challenged. They're afraid of accepting the challenge and then executing. Does that make sense? Some people, because to be a leader, you got to be challenged.
Right.
You got to accept the challenge. First of all, you got to embrace the challenge. Why are you challenging me? Right? I also want to stay behind my phone and post on Gram and post on Facebook my fake world that I tell everybody that looks good, but the reality is I'm struggling. But I'm, you know what I'm saying? I'm happy. No, you're not.
What made you to a leader, man? Like, how'd you just be like? I know it didn't just happen overnight. You just.
I embraced it. Both of you, just sitting here right now, being able to sit and interview me and have a podcast, you guys are both leaders. 100% you both. You may not even know it. You're both leaders. And I appreciate that, right? You've heard game recognize game, right?
Right.
That's the reality, right? You guys are both leaders. For me, it just happened earlier where I embraced whatever that was. Oh, so if I'm talking, then the teacher always blames me because everyone's listening to me. If I go left, all the kids are for whatever reason going left. What's so funny is I didn't embrace it right away. I embraced it early. I remember thinking, I don't care. Like they just stop. I thought they're listening to me, but then once I realized, what does that mean? Why are all the kids following me to the bubble? What do you call it? Remember the jungle gym? The jungle gym at Sunset Elementary, baby. Why are all the kids following me to the jungle gym? Why? That was me. Why? I asked questions for myself. So I had to accept the challenge. Then I began to embrace it. Once I understood, I said, oh, okay. You're doing the right things. There's this energy. My friends talk about that. There's this energy about me, this positive energy, this high off life is how I describe it. And so when you say, how did I become a leader? I realized what being a leader was, right? I had to notice why they're following me to the jungle gym. Okay, stop right there. A lot of people go, why are they following me to the jungle gym? Or dang, they're following me to the jungle gym. But they don't go, what can I do about that? How can I accept it, right? And most kids like, get away, right? Or they do it for negativity, and that's how gangs, why you think gangs are so powerful.
Right.
Those gang leaders are geniuses. I'm telling you guys, they're geniuses. I work with juveniles. We cannot compete with them because they're geniuses. I'm talking about from a government standpoint.
Right.
The reason gangs are so powerful is because those guys are genius. They're leaders. They just use it for wrong.
Right.
And so what I realize is that we all have leader in us. It's just a matter of what we do with that. So the answer to your question is how I became a leader is I saw it, I was aware of it, I embraced it. I embraced it and then executed. and then I've just been executing my entire life.
Man.
So
It obviously it shows because you have all the successes that has just tracked itself.
Thank you.
And I mean, I want to know, what is it that you're doing today? You
Yeah.
say you work with juveniles. How do you get into that?
So I do a lot of things. This is so crazy about like my athletic prowess is that I tell people that, and I used to always say this: middle school, high school, college, NFL, football never defined who I was as a man. It just defined what I was doing.
Right.
And people used to look at me and go, "Wow." Right? Because if you're a poor kid from Roswell, New Mexico, growing up in the base, you're out as the NFL. You're out. You want to make it, and that's what success is defined as: is how far you go in the NFL, or how far you go in college, or how much money you make. For me, Dontrell never defined his success as a human being by what I did in the NFL or lack thereof, or what I did in college. For me, it was what kind of man did I turn out to be? No father. I don't know my father. My mom was a single mother. She did it. She was 19 when she had me. We did it together. We grinded it out. We got it done. So that kind of shaped who I am now, what I do. So for me, I always wanted to give back to that kid. Give back. How can I give back? How can I give back this energy that I have for life through kids? So that leads me to what I'm doing now. I went to college, and I initially wanted to be a pediatrician. That's what when you look back to videos when I was younger, I never wanted to play in the NFL. I never talked about that.
Wow.
Never, because you think, I remember dreaming, and you throw the football up and touchdown, but I love basketball. Basketball was my favorite sport. I didn't my mom was like, go try football. Okay. Ended up being really good at it, right? I didn't like football. I liked playing, I can't say the name. Well, I guess I'll say it. It was a game we used to call Smear the Queer back in the day.
Oh, okay.
Remember that game?
Yeah.
Not race. I'm not being
No,
insensitive.
no,
But I'm saying that was the name we called it. You throw the ball up, and if they smeared the right, and so that's where I learned all my jukes and stuff. So that was the game. But I never thought about being in the NFL. That wasn't me. That's not what I wanted to do.
Right.
I wanted to be a pediatrician.
Wow,
From the very beginning, there's papers I wrote in 5th grade: pediatrician. And at this point, I was already a stud in athletics already. But that's not where my mindset was. So crazy.
You were still fixated on school.
I was, man.
Man,
I really was.
That's some hard dedication, because so many, especially with the success you were having in athletics, it was like, it would have been so easy to been like, because like you said, the teachers would have recognized you. People would have been like, cool, you're good. You're like, you're taken care of. And they get sidetracked.
Absolutely. And then by the time it's time to kind of do, here's what happens. Those same athletes who get kind of passed on, who kind of get what they want, then they get to, their senior year, junior year, and they don't have enough credits. Or they get to college finally and they can't pass because they're not eligible to play because school wasn't important to them.
Right.
And then they go, oh my gosh. For me, getting a scholarship was like, I get a paid education, and I got my degree. And that was important to me, right?
Wow.
I get a paid education. Oh, by the way, I get to play ball too?
Just an incentive.
For me, people think, oh man, I got to play football and I guess I can go to class. For me, it was, I get an education paid for, because my mom would have been able to pay for my school. I get a paid education, and on the side, I get to run for touchdowns. I get to have 50,000 people yelling for me. I get to be a college football Hall of Famer. I get to be the all-time Mountain West Conference leading rusher. I get to make friends that I'll never ever forget the rest of my life. I get to create bonds with men. I get to challenge myself and go through these grinds of 2 days with people who will be my friends for the rest of my life. I get to challenge other men to be better men. That's life, man.
Wow.
That's life for me. And so for me, college was this awesome opportunity to create bonds while getting my education. Not play football.
So did you follow the dream, pediatrician?
So that was always my dream. So then I get to college, and of course, all of my pre-med classes were offered during what?
Football.
So I couldn't do it. Because that's my education, right? And I'm not trivializing football. I love football. I love what I was doing, but that wasn't my focal point. It was my second, right? Education. So I was like, what else can I do? How can I affect positive change if I'm not going to be the preacher? Criminology.
Okay.
Sociology. Okay. Then that's when I started to dive into, holy cow. Our world is being dominated by crime, and it's with juveniles, right? An adult criminal, 95% of adult criminals were juvenile criminals.
Okay.
95%.
That's a high number, man.
Super high.
Basically 100 on that.
100%. Think of it. 9 out of 10 men who are in the adult system were in the juvenile system. Very seldom do you have a man who was never did anything as a juvenile and all of a sudden as an adult he becomes this awful person and now he's in prison. It doesn't happen that way.
Right.
So for me, I was like, okay, that's where I need to be. Criminology, start diving into sociology, the way things work, the path, the criminal path, the mindset of a criminal, the mindset of a juvenile criminal, completely different. So I jumped into that. The stats, why are the recidivism rate? Why do people continue to do? Why do kids come back through this revolving door? And that led me to getting my degree, double major in criminology and sociology, and a minor in communications, all while playing football.
Wow.
And this is what I used to hate in class, because what was the stereotypical thing that all the people would say that athletes have it so? No, we don't. Let me tell you why. If you get out of class at noon and you're not an athlete, you have from noon all the way until the next day to get your homework done, to get your, whatever you got to do to get a job. We had practice. We had hours and hours. So I would leave class at 1 and go to practice, and I wouldn't get home till midnight, 8. You go to training for 2 or 3 hours, then you have film for 2 or 3 hours, then you finally get to eat, and now you get to your homework. So I tell people all the time, I used to love when there's that girl in the front or that hater guy in the front row. Hey man, athletes get it so. Pick me, as the teacher would pick me, and then I would just give it to him respectfully, because people are ignorant to what they don't know. Because the stereotypes are so old. The stereotypes are that athlete, and it happens, right? But there's so much more to an athlete, at least for me. Yeah. So I'm not saying that thing didn't happen, but for me it was important for the people in that class to know that I wasn't that type of athlete. I wasn't cheating off the next person. I wasn't getting my assignments done for me. No, it was me. So I wanted to defend athletes in that regards. And so it was just kind of crazy. So what I do now is that, so I graduated from University of New Mexico, all while playing football, went to the NFL, and then once football was over, I said, God, what's going to happen? So then I started working at the Bernalillo County Youth Services Center, and I work with at-risk youth, and I challenge my staff to create ways to change the youth. I say I'm changing the world one juvenile delinquent at a time, and I think the biggest thing that needs to be said about juveniles is that we have to change the way they think.
Right. And
we're working in a world right now where social media is this phenomenon that it's nothing to be messed with, man. It really is. And so we have to be able to find ways as adults to reach them before outside influences. Yep.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And we see it so often, man, that these younger people, these younger kids, they're not even adults here. They don't know how to make a choice on their own.
Right.
And that's, like you said earlier, you got those older cats that are leaders, but in the wrong ways. What is something that you focus on personally to extend your help for the youth that maybe prevents that a little bit more than just the normal sit them down and talk to them or tell them that's wrong, this is right?
So you're saying what is something that I focus on to reach them? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, try to reach them on a different level. Absolutely. That maybe it's not the normal approach.
Oh man, there's so many ways, to be honest with you. And if you have one way, you'll fail, because that's the reality.
Right.
Because there's so many ways to skin a cat, and there's so many different influences from them. So you, as an adult, if you want to reach a young man or a young woman, you have to have different. You have to have different strategies. But I think the one that works for Dontrell is passion and energy.
Okay.
So when I'm talking to them, they're like, dang, this dude is like passionate. There's this energy about him. How can I not listen to him, right? I'm not coming to him from a standpoint of like, man, you gotta do this, right?
Right.
It's this energy. And energy doesn't mean loud.
No.
Passion doesn't mean screaming and crying, and yet people, it's just this energy that comes from within. And you know why that's easy? Because it's real.
Genuine.
So how am I coming to them? I'm genuine. I genuinely give a shit. Yeah. I genuinely care about them dying. Genuinely, right? There's this genuine passion and energy about what they do with their life. They've never said this to me in my facility. I've been there 10 years and I hear it every day. You just have a paycheck, sir. You're just here for a paycheck. You don't care about me. Not a single kid has ever said that to me in 10 years.
That speaks a lot for
Not
yourself.
a single kid has said to me, sir, you're just here for a paycheck.
And you do get that. You get
Oh
that
my
from
gosh.
maybe a lot of other employees
Absolutely.
that are just there to collect your
And
paycheck.
it's true. I hired them, unfortunately. I hired those ones who come to the interview and I'm like, okay. And then a week later, 2 months later, the kids are like, sir, they're just here for a paycheck. And it's hard, right? It's hard to not hire those people because, you know, we need the bodies. We need people in there that are doing it. But yes, so to answer your original question is how do I reach them? It's just, for me, the foundation of, now there's different ways. Some kids I got to come real, right? And let them know my story. That I was a left turn away from being in the game. I was a right turn away from, you know, smoking marijuana. I gotta come to them with that, right? So like, oh, dang, right? Because, you know, I'm not a goody two shoe, but I'm a nerd. I scared, you know. And then there's other kids where I gotta tell them both sides. Because here's what happens with some of the kids. They're like, dang, they hear about my story about the NFL, and then I have them, right? Right? I have them because then that's their, okay, that's fine. So I'm able to use. Then there's another kid who, you know, cares about the educational part, or finds out that I never got a B. Now I got him, right? So I can't come to this kid who found that I never got a B, and he's like, dang, that's the, you know, because I'm the cool guy to them, right? So the kid that knows that I never got a B is like, well, dang, Dontrell's cool, ain't it? We got him, right? The kid who saw me in the NFL is like, dang, that's cool, I got him, right? The kid who, you know, I walk in and I'm singing, and they're like, oh, he can sing too. He got him, right? Now, hey, I heard you play the piano, so that I watched the YouTube and you were playing. Oh, got him, right? So these different. Oh, I heard you talking about your mom. I love my mom. Got him.
So it's all about your approach with that person personally.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
And you don't know. You don't know. You feel it. And when you genuinely care,
I was gonna say when you care.
when you genuinely care, you'll figure it out.
And it touches them in a way because maybe their parents don't care. Because that's kind of seems like the common factor a lot of the times. Either they're a single parent child, or maybe both their parents don't care in general.
Another red. Dang, Dontrell doesn't know his dad. His mom did it by himself. My mom's a single mom and she did it by herself. Oh, got him. Now he wants to listen. So I remember I told you there's so many different ways. All these different things that they're like, oh wow. He comes from a small town where there was a lot of gangs and I come from. Got him. Right? Dang, you made it out. Yeah, man. Made it. Got him. Now he wants to listen to me. Come to my office, man. Have a seat. Oh, I can come to his office. He's not the boss that's like, man, stay up. No, come on in. Have a seat, man.
That's so cool, man.
So
it speaks a lot about you, man, because it's like I mentioned earlier, you're an athlete. That's what most people know you for. It's like, oh, he was running back Roswell, UNM, NFL, like all this stuff. But there's more to you as a person that I don't think people know.
Yeah, and I think they should know. I think they should know,
too.
and I think that's the better part of Dontrell Moore. It really is, man. It's great. And as much success that I had athletically, the better part, and I think the reason I was a great athlete is because of the values that were instilled in me as a young kid, the work ethic, the discipline. For me, I was the best athlete, but I worked harder than anybody.
Right.
Like, that was so important to me. Like, I worked hard. I wanted to work hard. It was about that. Like, you know, I wanted to beat all the homies at the races. I wanted to beat all the homies at lifting weights, and that was me. That was me. And all the sports stuff just kind of came. And like, I'm not joking. Like, I remember my junior year, I was a Parade All-American. And I don't know if you guys know what that is, but a Parade All-American is only given to 33 people in the whole country.
Oh, yeah. You got that your senior year?
Oh, was it my senior year?
Yes.
Sorry, yes. And we didn't even know what it was. Because those are the kind of things that just weren't important to me. What was important is the struggle, the grind, the everyday practice, the two-a-days, the sprints, the schoolwork. That was important to me. Oh crap! But even when I got to UNM, they're like, Dontrell never talked about being an all-time leading rusher. You know, he just worked every day. To me, it was every day. How can I be better today?
I think that's a good philosophy.
It's hard to do though. It's
It is
hard to
true.
do because you look down and you see the end. You'll never get there. You'll never get to the end, whatever your end goal is, if you don't focus on today. And for me, it literally was, yes, I had long-term goals. But for me, the way I got to those long-term goals is because every single day I said, how can I be better today? And then here's what happens. I tell kids all the time. One day turns into 2 days, turns into 3 days, turns into 4 days, turns into 5 days. Then all of a sudden you're like, I've been killing the game for 2 weeks, right? Now you're a better athlete. Now you've had 2 100-yard games. Now people are looking at you. Now the Mountain West Conference is like, who's this running back? Who's this freshman, right? I'm not trying to be Mountain West Conference Freshman of the Year. I'm just trying to not fumble today. I'm trying to win a game. I'm trying to have a perfect practice. I'm trying to sprint through the end zone in practice. I'm trying to create habits that make the game easy.
Right.
It seems
It's
like-
all preparation.
It seems like it was like football kind of like translated to your life after football because you like your mentality is just crazy, man. It's like you just have a set mindset and you just
Done.
hit it
Yep.
like it's a line.
It is like a game. It is a game, right? So football for me is the sport, the ultimate sport that echoes life. So do other sports. Let me tell you why football is, because it's the ultimate team sport, right? If you have one badass running back, but the offensive line don't do their job, you might be okay. But the ultimate success is not going to be as good as if all 11 do their job.
Yes.
Let me tell you why that's important in life, especially what I do. Is that I run a facility where at-risk youth are in our care. If I had to do it all by myself, would I fail or succeed? I'd fail.
Yes.
And I'm a badass. I say that humbly, but I am. But I cannot do it without my staff. So my job is to give a little bit of me to my staff. Share my knowledge and my passion and my energy and my philosophy toward changing the world to my staff.
I
Right?
agree.
And now you have 9 people talking to Johnny. You have 12 people talking to Adam. You have 15 people talking to Araceli, right? And you have, now there's more, and that's the philosophy I take. So here's my plan, this is what I'm gonna do. How can I be the best football player? Okay, do one day at a time. So how can I be the best Bernalillo County Youth Services Center program manager? Okay, challenge my staff to be better. Give them tools to be better. Give them a little bit piece of me. Give them the energy and passion that I have. Show them why it works. Show them anecdotal evidence of how being passionate and energetic about kids and about your job can make your day easier. Because they're like, sir, when you're on the line, I didn't have a lot of fights. I didn't have a lot of that stuff that goes on every day in my facility because I was there, I cared. They were like, no, we don't want to fight on Dontrell's shift. Because it was important to them to respect me.
They started to gain almost like a moral aspect.
Absolutely. Yes, they felt bad if they got in trouble on me. Yes. It's powerful. Like when they mess up, oh, my bad, sir.
Because morals is not something that's just, you can't really just learn one day. It's a
Over time.
Yes.
Over time.
Gotta stay consistent.
This is the biggest thing I would ask them every single day. How do you judge the character of a man? I would ask them, they don't know. By what he does when no one's looking.
Yes. That is
And that they would all go,
100% true.
because they know what they were doing when no one was looking. Raping, pillaging, stealing, killing, mobbing, all the stuff. They know what they were doing when no one was looking. So for me in there, how do you judge the character of man by what he does when no one's looking? And they all write it down. A kid came back, I saw him, he didn't come back, but I saw him in we call it the outside the facility. I saw him like 3 or 4 years later and he had that as a tattoo. How do you judge the character of a man? By what he does when no one's looking.
Wow.
He had it as a tattoo. That's how profound it was to him. So he thought it was important is that he's like, I'm not perfect, but I strive to do what's right when no one's looking.
Man.
And that was important to them, man. And that's
good though, man. It like I said, when it comes to morals, it seems like there's a lack of them these days.
It is.
It's even down to just like opening a door for somebody.
chivalry.
Yes, man. It's like, I don't understand what happened along the line, but
I think I know.
what do you think?
My philosophy on why chivalry is dead, or why when I hold the door for a lady at the gym the other day, she is shocked. Why kids now, right? And I was talking about the kids, and it may sound as though the generation of kid now, they don't respect their elders. They do not respect their elders. So that's about that. Why? For me, and it's gonna sound like I'm dogging social media, but it's social media. It's a me world now, right? I don't have time to be respectful to others because I'm worried about myself.
It's kind of sad because it's not just like you don't just like you see it in your town or your city, but it's across the globe.
It's across the globe, man.
Yeah,
it's probably on a larger scale. Think about the New Yorks of the world, the LAs of the world, where they're going 100 miles an hour, right? Where they don't really have time. When I was with the Jets, my first team after college was the New York Jets,
Right.
and I hated New York because I'm like, people don't give a damn about, from Roswell, you wave at everybody, you say hello, and there's stuff going on, but for the most part, and I'm not a small town kid, I'm proud to be from Roswell, but most people think, oh, you're just a small town kid, that's why you don't like New York, it's too big and too fast. No, it's the mentality of these big cities. I lived in Nashville when I was with the Titans. I love Nashville, and it's massive, but the mentality is, do you care about folks? Can you wave at somebody when you walk? Do you say thank you when somebody walks at, and so the New York mentality, the LA mentality is 100 miles an hour, right? I'm gonna step on you if you're in the way. I'm stepping on you. You're slowing me down because I gotta grind. And this is my grind. Slow yourself down a little bit. Enjoy life.
Yeah.
Smell the flowers, right? This is one of my other philosophies. I was telling my boy the other day. I said, people will bring flowers to your funeral, but won't bring you soup when you're sick.
You know what? I seen that the other day,
What did it say to you?
Honestly, man, it kind of told me that people these days, like, basically, this is what came to me. There's only so many people that are there for the like the push, the like here you go. But there's so many people for the congratulations. Like when you succeed finally, it's like you got those supporters, and then you have the congratulations people.
But where was the?
Yes, it's like you got very few people, and it's so sad because it's so true. Because it's like, man, honestly, I don't know, man. I'd rather be taken care of while I'm able to be taken care of.
Let me smell the flowers.
Yes.
Tell somebody good job. Tell somebody thank you. Tell them, hey man, you killed it, little dude. You did right. That's what's up. But if they pass away, then you want to go give them all their praise when they're gone?
Yes.
That's what I tell people all the time. Let people smell their flowers. Because I send emails to my staff and they're like, thank you, sir. No one ever really says. Give people credit and praise while they can smell it. Give them their love while they can. Right? Don't wait till their funeral, they're gone to talk about how awesome they were. Let them know. Hey man, you're doing good stuff, man. You're doing good stuff, man.
Right.
This podcast is cool, right? Don't wait till you guys are long gone. The podcast is for me. Hey, they were killing it, man. Well, they don't let them hear that.
Yes.
And I think
it's always cool or good. Or not cool. That was a bad word, but like it's just encouraging to encourage others.
Absolutely.
Like even if it's the simplest of things, like just if you're at a job and you're early every day. Like,
yes.
Thank you for being early every day.
Yes.
Something just small and little.
I think cool is the right word. You gotta make that cool to have people. Even if it's a simple thing.
I think he's right. I think what you mean is like it's deeper than cool.
Yes.
But the profoundness of cool is what the world needs now. Right? For example, I was the cool guy, but I wasn't too cool.
Right.
That's the difference with kids now, right? They don't understand. They want to be too cool. Mm-hmm. No, don't be too cool. Be cool. Be you.
Be you.
Right? Be you. Being you is cool enough.
Yes. I don't think a lot of people understand that. That small saying is being you is cool enough. I think too many people try to like be someone they're not.
Absolutely.
Try to come out of their own skin.
Media.
Yes.
So for example, I'm cool, but everyone else doesn't think I'm cool because I only have 9 followers, right? I only have 9, hits, what's it called?
Hits, follows, maybe you only get 9 likes.
Likes, that's the word, right? On Instagram or da-da-da-da-da, or, what if being cool, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because if I have a business, like if I was starting a business right now, social media is where it's at. You have so many ways to get your ideas to the world right now. We didn't have that growing up. I didn't anyway, right? I didn't have that growing up where I could get my ideas and my influence. Right now, like a kid who's 9 or 12 years old can have an idea, and in 10 minutes he can reach 1 million people.
That's true.
That's scary at the same time and powerful at the same time if it's used the right way. So the idea of cool, they only get validated in their cool if other people validate them. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And so the best, I believe, folks in this world are the people who validate their own cool through themselves and then use that cool for positive influence.
I think that's so true. That speaks a lot to a lot of people because I don't think people completely come to terms with themselves. They don't accept themselves. They don't love themselves. And so they try to get that acceptance and that love from others. And unfortunately, you see like failed marriages and even just bottled dating and relationships because they're not able to accept themselves and they're expecting someone else to accept them. Yes.
And that cycle is the vicious cycle of life, man. Yes. I think that cycle happens more than we even know. The cycle of I didn't get the love and praise when I was a kid. I had failed relationships. My mom and dad divorced. I was single mom, or I was raped. All these things, and then you struggle your whole life to kind of compensate. Yes, great word. I compensate for the lack that I had. I compensate for the things I didn't have. For example, me not having a father, I could be that guy who overcompensates for being a tough guy because I didn't have a dad. I want to show people that I didn't do that. I was okay with me. Terrell Owens said, "I love me some me." People gave, you guys remember him saying that? People gave Terrell Owens a lot of slack about that because that's what we do. We tear people down. But if you just listen to what he's saying, I work with juvenile delinquents, you guys know that, but the females, I want them to be confident. Mm-hmm. I tell them, love yourself, love you, because if you love you, that old man can't do that to you.
Right. Love
yourself, love you some you. That doesn't, people just need to understand that. I think, and Terrell was, and if you know Terrell Owens, I've met him, he's not an arrogant person. Internally, he was raised by his grandma, he was a great, loving you is like, man, it's okay to be confident. It's okay to be proud of yourself. We live in a world where you can't be confident. But we teach a young girl not to be confident in herself, but then we want her to say no to the guy who's hitting on her, who's 10 years older than her. If she's not confident in herself, then she loves the negative energy from that guy. Does that make sense? Let's teach the kids to be confident, not arrogant, not cocky, confident. Love who you are. It's enough. Topic that we don't even have to get into, the mass shootings.
Right.
Those kids aren't confident.
I agree. I think that they're compensating for that again. It does go to a lot of compensation.
It does. They're compensating for the stuff that they didn't get, and they're not confident because mommy didn't tell them they were good or that it was okay to be different.
Or to have feelings.
Or to have feelings and talk about those feelings. So you know what? I'm going to just do this because that's my power. I'm going to overcompensate for not being picked all the time in football. I'm going to overcompensate from not being strong, right? But if someone said, you're strong as you. You're a smart kid. It's okay. No one said that to them. No one said it enough, right? No one stopped the bully from picking on this kid. Not okay, right? I was bullied, but I stood up for myself. And never forget, even the guy that bullied me in middle school is now in prison for life, killed somebody.
Wow.
Right? So he was a real bully, not a fake bully, like meaning, those bullies who
just tried.
He was a bully who was about that life. You know what that means? Yes. He was about that life. Didn't matter to me. Because I realized that if I don't stand up to him, he's gonna bully me for the next 2 years of middle school. I stood up to him. I never forget, we were at the theater in Roswell. I forget what was it called?
Amphitheater?
I don't know what it was called then. Cinema 4 maybe? I don't remember what it was called.
Oh, okay.
Or Allen Theaters?
I don't know. The one down south by the...
No, it was at the mall. It was at the mall at the time.
Okay. Before Galaxy.
Yeah, it was right there. It was right there. And we were all there. And he was there with his boys and I was there with my boys. And he kept flicking my ear and flicking. This is a cool story. I tell people the story all the time because people think, oh, big bad Dontrell, football player. No, bullies come in all shapes and sizes and they pick on people all shapes and sizes. But I wasn't a fighter. I wasn't that kind of confrontational guy. And I remember he's flicking my ear and he had his boys. And he was a little dude. He was a little short guy. He was tough. He could fight. He was one of the best fighters in the school. And I just remember, and I tell the story not to act tough, but I tell the story because it was a moment in my life where I realized that even though you're not that kind of person, meaning a person who's going to fight or shoot or be violent, that I had to defend myself, and it was with my words, with the passion and energy. And I remember I had like a tear that kind of rolled down my face, and I turned around, and he was with his boys, and I said, I don't even remember what I said. On Will Ferrell, and you guys seen Old School when he's doing the debate, and he kind of blacks out, and he says something super powerful. And I turned around, and I remember saying something along the lines of, if you put your hands on me again, or if you don't leave me alone, you're going to regret it. But for the reason I don't remember the words, because it wasn't about what I was saying, it was about what I meant.
Right. There was a deeper message.
There was a message and he realized, well, shoot, Dontrell's not he. And when I tell people all the time, I tell kids all the time, people will miscue your message if your delivery isn't great. Hear me out. If I'm telling somebody something that's powerful in my message, but my delivery is awful, they're not gonna get it.
Right.
So I tell a kid, if you're asking the staff to let you use the restroom because you're gonna pee on yourself, but you're cussing and yelling at them, they're not hearing that you just need the restroom. They're hearing that you're cussing and yelling at them. You see what I'm saying?
That's a good example.
It's so powerful. People will lose your message if your delivery isn't on point. So I don't even remember what my words were, but my delivery and the meaning behind it was real. He never messed with me again.
Wow.
Never messed with me again. Never. His friends even remember saying, hey, one of these days Dontrell's gonna kick your ass. And I turned around and I said, they're right. Or something, like it was the energy and passion that I had. And I wasn't a fighter. I'll tell you, I'm not a fighter. That wasn't what I did. I was never taught to fight, right? I was taught to defend myself and do it the right way. There's so many ways to defend yourself. So I tell that story because I want the kids to know that just because you're not a fighter, if you're not a fighter, there's ways to let people know that you're not playing games.
Right.
Are you guys Tupac fans?
Yeah,
I love Tupac. What was one of his most famous lines? I'm not a killer, but don't push me.
Oh yeah.
Don't think about it from the killer standpoint. I took that as I'm not about that life, but don't make me be.
Right.
Don't make me be. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And when I say I'm not about that life, that just means I don't choose to be in that life. I don't choose to just what's up I don't choose to be that way. But don't make me be.
Right. Don't push me.
Don't push me to be my limits, because then you'll see what I'm about. Right? So I'm not a killer, but don't push me doesn't mean kill to me. It means that's not really what I want to do, because I choose a better life. But if I have to defend myself or my family or my friends, you bet I will. And that's what I tell my kids. Wow. I tell my residents all the time, listen, being tough is not about this. Being tough is making the decision when to do what. Being tough is not about this. It's making the right decision when to do that. Being tough is, I'm being tough when I have to be, not because I think I need to be. Being tough is defending your family when you have to, not just because. Right. That's toughness to me. And that kind of resonates.
Yeah, a lot of people get that misconstrued.
Yep. If I'm cleaning people up for no reason, I'm the toughest. Nah, man. That's not tough.
That's not tough.
Tough is fighting when you have to.
Yes, there's a time and a place, and it depends, like you said. If you're pushing me to a limit, okay, but
be ready for it.
Yeah,
you ready for the smoke?
You've been asking.
I'm too small. I can't fight. I'm 5'5". I'm gonna sit my butt down. I'm a level. I'm like,
me too, though.
I'm like,
but again, if you got pushed, if you had to, absolutely you would. Absolutely you would. Any man would. Any man would. And when I say I'm not a fighter, I mean I don't fight. I'm not about it. Don't want to fight. I'm gonna avoid it at all costs. My mom used to make fun of me all the time. She said, "Man, if you just let Dontrell talk, he's gonna talk his way out of any ass whooping, any butt. He's gonna talk his way out of it." So I'm trying to, right? And do I think I could fight? Meaning, could I learn the skill to be? Absolutely, right? Like the UFC stuff. Like I enjoy the art of that. I think, but those dudes are real, man. Me and my boys talk about it. Hey, they know stuff we don't know. Kevin Hart said if something like that, they hit a button and shut your whole body down. You're just like, it's crazy, man. And that's why you don't mess with folks, because you don't know, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you know, we're getting off track a little bit, but the foundation of what I'm saying is that if you stand up for yourself, I stood up for myself not like this. Yeah. It was through the heart and the passion that I was no longer wanting to be bullied. And I know that I was enough, that loving me, I had to love myself in that moment. So think about what T.O. said, I love me to me. If I didn't love myself, I would have I almost said his name, I would have let him keep bullying me.
Right.
Think about that.
Been like,
or I would have gotten a gun and went to the school and shot up the whole school because of this guy bullying me. Yes. Does that make sense? No, because I didn't love myself enough to defend myself with him. And I think that's kind of the epidemic of these school shootings or these mass shootings. It's because they didn't love themselves. It wasn't enough. So they go get it in those kind of ways, man. So, but yeah, man, it's a lot that goes on in this world. And I think, I tell people all the time, a hug a day, shake somebody's hand, man, give somebody some love. That's what the world needs. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Like, it truly is, man. And I even think about some of the stuff that I've gone through in my life athletically. People are like, oh, why are you so happy? Why do you love people? Like, I'd be after practice signing thousands of autographs, right? Because I never took it for granted.
Right.
I never took it for granted that people showed Dontrell more love. This little boy, this little boy from Roswell, New Mexico, is now signing thousands of autographs. He's now on the side of this. Whoa, like that's still cool to me. Like that's still like that. You know, it's not like I'm cool, bro. You know, like if I'm in Smith's and there's a husband and a wife. And they come up to me, it's happened before, it's kind of funny, and the wife is asking me to sign her boobie. And I'm like, dang. But the husband's like, yeah, sign it. I'm like, okay, so I sign it, you know? Like, that kind of stuff is cool to me. That's cool. Like, and here's what I say, people respect this so much about me, and I think this is really cool. When I see people, because I'm not going to say my age, but my last football season was almost 15 years ago at college. Think about that. Wow. Wow, right? And I'm still signing autographs. And I think awesome. For me, it is. And I think for me, what's cool about it is not the touchdowns, is that people say, you know what, Dontrell? You represented the University of New Mexico the right way. You represented Roswell the right way. That's important. You never got in trouble. You didn't get in trouble for cheating. You weren't doing steroids. You weren't hitting women. You didn't get in trouble in the media. You represented the University of Mexico and Roswell, New Mexico the right way. And that's important to me.
See, man, people don't think like that, man. People do not think like that. They, like you said, could care less and more about them and less about who you're representing.
Absolutely.
And you were representing small town Roswell,
No doubt.
and then UNM as a whole. Like
and the
that,
state of New Mexico.
Woo, yes,
it's important to me, man, and I embraced it. It was important. It was important for people to know I was from Roswell. It was important for me. I was proud of it. Proud of it. I have some of my friends who are in my circle who aren't proud of that. I'm like, dude, I'm proud to be from Roswell, New Mexico.
That's what I'm saying.
Proud of it,
that
fam.
too, man.
I'm proud of it.
So many people are like, Roswell's a bad place. It's not bad, man. It's a beautiful
It's what you make it.
Yes.
It's what you make it. When I go back now, my mom gets mad at me because she comes up and you need to come back. And I said, because I don't get back enough. I really don't. But it's not because I don't love it. Because Roswell's home. And I'm proud of it. I remember, I never forget, I was in a rookie mini camp with the New York Jets. And then Leon Washington, he was from Florida State. He played with the Jets for 4 or 5 years. And he was like, man, where are you from? You're from Texas. I said, no, I'm from Roswell. He goes, where? So I'm from Roswell, New Mexico. I was like, where is that at? I was like, what? You never heard of like the aliens and all that stuff? And he's like, that's where you're from? He said, I thought you were from Mexico. I was like, I said, hold on. I said, you graduated from college and you don't know the 50 states that New Mexico is a state? And he goes, oh yeah. I'm like, man, y'all are, but I was proud of being from New Mexico. I was proud of being from Roswell. And just because I got out of there and I don't want to live there, that doesn't mean I'm not proud of it. I've just kind of moved on with my life as far as, you know, I want more and got to be able to go do more and live in other places. But Roswell's home. Yeah. My mom is still there. I love Roswell. Roswell will always be home. Without Roswell, I'm not who I am. And this is what I tell people. The reason Roswell was so amazing was this. I could go left, like I said, and go with the homies and smoke the weed and go mob and go jump fences and break into houses. Or I could go right and do exactly what I was supposed to do. And I could do either. There's some cities where there's no right, like in Flint, Michigan, there's some cities where you can't go right. It's only left. You got to get out of there. So Roswell, it's there and it's bad, but you can do what's right.
There's still potential.
There's a lot of potential. There's a lot of growth. Small town America, baby. Small town America, right?
Yes,
and I tell people what that means is that it's small, but if you get around the right folks, they got this mentality of a go get it. It's small town America, right? Small town America. What that means is it's a small town, but they're thinking about America. They're thinking about the big picture, right? A podcast, how can I reach? What am I doing? What is my premise behind a podcast? What is my premise around? That's small town America mentality means I want to reach people. I want to tell people. I want to give people the story of people. I want to talk to people. I want to have a platform.
Right. And it goes back to what my mom used to tell me is, tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. And it's like you said, you built that group of people that were like, bees don't get degrees. It's like, come on, man, that's what I'm saying. If you're hanging out with people that get high, they probably you probably get high.
Absolutely.
If you hang out with people that got money, more likely
you're gonna try.
It just works.
I always tell myself, if you're the smartest person in the room all the time, you're in the wrong room.
I agree.
You guys know that. If every time you're in the room, you're the smartest person, you're in the wrong room.
That's very true.
Where's your growth? Go be the person where you're the 10th smartest person and learn and listen. Mm-hmm. That's me. I listen and okay. Boom. Boom. From a young age. Remember I said, why are these people following me? Okay, boom. Mom, everyone's, come home. And my mom's so funny because she tells people I didn't do anything. She tells people all the time, I'm telling you, I didn't do anything. My homework was, she would get home from school or home from work, my homework would be done, my chores would be done, the house would be clean, dinner made.
Nice.
Third grade.
You can't show mom this. Be like, what was y'all?
Hey, man, y'all need to be like Dontrell. No, so, and I say that because I think back to my mom, and I give my mom all the credit in the world. I'm a mama's boy, I always have been. But she tells people, I never had the birds and the bees talk with my mom. My mom never to this day said don't smoke. Never. She never said that to this day. Wow. She never said don't. She's like, I didn't have those conversations with Dontrell because they were more. Her conversations were, Pythagoras theorem.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how can your existence as a man affect positive change in your school? That was our conversation.
Wow. That's bad, man.
And so, that was the beauty of my life. Me and my mom, and just best friends. Like, just really were. Like, that was my world. and she just did a great job. She really did. She doesn't get it. She doesn't give herself enough credit, but that's my mom, right?
Well, we're gonna give Mama Moore some credit
Mama Moore, man.
She actually hooked us up with this whole
she
situation.
Did. She did.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that so much.
Yeah.
So I want to end on this question. You said you got 3 little ones, right? 3 little kids?
No.
No?
1.
1 little kid?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
For some reason I thought I heard 3.
They giving me 3 kids already, man.
Okay, you got
no.
1.
Yes.
How old are they?
So I have a newborn. She's 2 months.
Okay,
Yeah.
2 months.
Yep.
So let's say, I don't know, 20 years from now she watches this video. We have a trend here. We like to end on the parents giving a message to their kids, something they want them to take on for the rest of their life. Something that you want them to, either it's a saying or it's a lesson or maybe listening to you. Whatever it is, what is something you would give advice to your kid?
Well, I'll just look and tell her. I said, Brinley, Daddy loves you, Mommy loves you, and your name is what I want you to take on forever. Your name means elegant and strong, made from love. Her name is Brinley Mi Amor, and Mi Amor, love. So elegant and strong, made from love. And what I want you to take, or what I would tell her, is this: elegant and strong, right? So there's this power and strength that you have to navigate this world. But the better, elegant, and gracefully you navigate it, the higher you'll be. And at the root of all of that has to be what? Love.
There you go.
Yeah,
awesome message, man. Awesome message.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
We appreciate you, Don.
I appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Please like, please subscribe, please share. You know how we guys do. Till next time with the Beard Bros. Peace.
Later.
Thanks.